All right, everybody. Welcome June 5th. Okay, look at that. We're about halfway. Well, we're 4 weeks from being halfway through the year, so hopefully you're on track for your goals. Today, we are very fortunate from the St. Rose office. Okay, number 6 team in the company last year. Also, Chairman Diamond Award winner also for the company. We have Leslie Carver. Leslie, welcome to the show. Oh, you have to start kicking, by the way. Unmute yourself. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Leslie, because we haven't done this in a while, let's start off by telling everybody a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this, all that good stuff, please.
Okay, sure. So I've been in the business 27 years, all with the same company, and it's changed names a couple times, but I've been with basically the same. People love it. And I know you and I have had this conversation a couple of times, but people may not know the history. So when I started in the business, I was lucky. I actually ended up getting into bank foreclosures pretty quick my first year. And back then it was really easy. I mean, 1996, there weren't a ton of foreclosures, and most agents weren't interested in doing them because they were a little bit lower pay and a lot more work.
Right.
So I was able to get in with several banks at that point. I started just getting in with more and more banks. I was in with Bank of America, Wells Fargo, several different asset management companies, and had several bank accounts I was working with, as well as other accounts. So when the market crashed, I was already had systems in place. I was already set up, so I was doing a ton of bank foreclosures. At that point, my husband joined me, and we had one buyer's agent, and just doing a ton of business on foreclosures, and did that for several years, and was pretty successful at it. Started seeing the foreclosures slow down, and thought, okay, how do I transition my business and still, stay with a high level of business? So I started seeing short sales come in. So I started learning everything I could about short sales. I already had some systems in place working with the bank, so it wasn't a hard transition, and we just kind of transitioned our systems more to short sales. And at that point, we were doing about 100 deals at all times. You have to have 100 deals to close 10 short sales a month. So I was teaching CE classes at our board of realtors on how to do short sales, just doing a high level of short sales pretty successfully at that point. And then after I started seeing short sales slow down, started seeing that, I thought, well, how can I still transition my business again and do a high level of business and maintain? And so I joined Mike Ferry, and that's where you became my coach.
Yes.
Years ago, right?
That was like what? That was like 12, 13 years ago, wasn't it?
A while, yes, at least.
Yeah, like 2009.
Yeah, I think so, because you were one of my first coaches, and I did Mike Ferry for 8 years, and transitioned my business and did short sales. I mean, not short sales. I just came in and started cold calling, basically cold called expireds, and became pretty successful at that. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I would call expireds all day long before I would call any of my past clients in Spear. And I liked it and enjoyed it and started doing that. And then, our market was such a strong seller's market that we weren't seeing as many expireds. So I had to figure out how to transition my business. And every year I'd say, I'm going to call my past clients in Spear. And every year I wouldn't. So I did Mike Ferry for 8 years, and then I joined Brian Buffini. And now I've been doing Brian Buffini for about 6 years. I love it. We're doing pot buys to our clients. We are we threw a huge party, Cinco de Mayo shredding party. So we had taco bar and margarita bar and had a shredding truck and invited, our clients had about 60 people come. It was a huge success at the office. So, over the years, just transition my business to find what I needed to do a high level of production consistently. Yeah,
I remember the day you had that. I left a little early to get out of your way because it looked like you were taking over the parking lot and having people show up, and it looked like it was a blast.
It was fun. Definitely, I'm learning I would say calling my own clients and throwing these parties wasn't in my comfort zone, but it's becoming in my comfort zone. I love it. Cold calling, expireds wasn't in my comfort zone, and I learned it. Short sales, bank foreclosures, but I'm really kind of finding now this transition has been very enjoyable because I feel like I'm really connecting personally with my clients. I feel like I've become a much more, just a nicer person personally because of that,
Well, the thing is, and I agree with all of that. That was a great little rundown of how you did it. The thing is, and the thing that I want to point out, as your coach early on and as the company coach now, is one of the things that I've really noticed about you and have been impressed a lot by is your ability to like to change, just to reinvent yourself. You went from the bank owns, the short sales, where you really, if you and I both know, if you'll take it and you know how to do it, which everybody didn't, they'll list with you. And then transition into, now I have to have a presentation. I got to win these people over. I've got to, call expireds and then boom, when you realized I have a gigantic past customer and client base that I'm not really spending a lot of time with, and then you segued into that, so that's just that. It's a huge evolution and with multiple changes, and you really staying ahead and seeing market changes at the same time. So congratulations. That's all really good stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So what have you learned most? I mean, one of the things is that you definitely, and you and your husband too, by the way, I love his haircut. You know that. And
you guys had the same one.
We're the same do. The hair don't, as opposed to the hair do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And but you're always willing to get out there and make yourself uncomfortable and so forth. So what have you learned about yourself in that process?
I think the key is to have a strong why. Why are you out there? Especially right now with our market slowing and the transition, I consider the why like, when we talk about, with our clients, finding out their motivation. So the clients that have to sell will take the necessary steps. They'll do the hard things because they have to sell. They'll do what's necessary to sell. And it's the same thing with the agents when you have a strong why. So if you know why you're doing it, you'll do, what's needed to survive and succeed in this market. If you know why your motivation is, then it's a little easier to get up in the morning and make those cold calls at 8 a.m. or do what you're supposed to do. So I think we have to really sit down and start with our why, and so that's been something important to me, is knowing why I'm doing it and, why I get up in the morning, the big picture of these little actions. And then, and then you break that down. You break that down to a morning routine. So, when I started in the business, I was really just naturally positive. I just had a really positive mindset, and it came natural. But as I got in the business longer and longer, I did lose some of that where it didn't come naturally, So I made it part of my morning routine. Like every morning I get up, I have my daily planner, and I don't use it to write my actual appointments. I have an online one for that, but I use it to write my gratitude. So every morning I get up, I get my daily planner, and I write my gratitudes for the day. And then I have affirmations that I change every month. And those affirmations are partly gratitudes, thanking for some of the things that I have in my life right now. And they're partly thanking for things that I want to see happen. Like, thank you. My sons, both my oldest and youngest. My oldest graduated from college this month, and my youngest graduated from high school. So I've been
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I have a lot of gratitudes this month on focusing on, their successes. And I also have some gratitudes focused on, my youngest finding, his way well when he transitions into college. I say every morning some gratitudes for that happening in the future. And just focus on a really strong morning routine. I say my affirmations, and then I meditate for just even 10 minutes and kind of start my morning off with a really strong focus on gratitudes and a positive morning. And, that I think helps. So if you have a good why, and then, the big picture, here's my goals. And one of the things, you say, if you ask anybody, do you have goals? everybody's going to say yes. But, do you really, are they written? Are they specific? If they're in your head, they're really not a goal. They're a wish,
Right.
So, to me, the difference between a wish and a goal is you've written them down and you know exactly what they are and a little more specific. And the difference between a goal and a plan is now you have time frames, now you have action items, now you know what you're supposed to do every day. So you don't want to wish and you don't want a goal, you want a plan. And so you really need to take that in to be a little more specific of here's my why and here's what I have to do every day to just be consistent on the big picture of, the little things I do daily to make that happen.
Right. That's a great exercise right there too. Taking it through, understanding your why. And, early on in my career, my why was why not? Why wouldn't I maximize my potential in this business? Because it's available if you're just willing to put the time in, right? I don't think that whole progression you went through of talking to expireds and building a huge database, and remember the days when you had to go from just taking orders to having a presentation, all of those changes were uncomfortable, Leslie, weren't they?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if you sit down and you put all this in writing, like you just said, okay, because,
right.
A lot of people have too much wiggle room in what they do, right?
For sure. Yes. I think
Go ahead, I cut
agents,
you off. You're going to, yeah.
No, I just said, I think a lot of agents just don't have a plan. So they get up in the morning and they go, okay, well, I'm slow. I need to do something. So what am I going to do? So then maybe they'll call some clients or something. But that's not how you want to go about your day. You don't want to be like, okay, I need some business, so I'm going to make some calls today. You want it to be a consistent plan. Like, okay, I get up every day. I write my gratitudes. I, do my meditation, and then I make 5 calls today. That's a plan. That's not, oh, I don't have anything going on. What do I need to do to drum up some business?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. I love it. And before I get into it, I'm going to ask you the question about your 3 biggest pieces of advice to give them to maximize their career. But, you've always been one step ahead in the market. What do you see happening right now?
I am, again, looking to transition my business. I'm really moving, deep into my past clients and spare, working on that, making sure I'm really communicating with them and putting more systems to place on that. And then I'm also transitioning more into social media. I am, doing some of that and really working on creating a brand. And, I really am working on some transitioning into that right now as well.
Cool. Like videos and stuff?
Like videos and stuff, yes. Yes.
Whoa, all right. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
That's great. Good stuff. All right, so give me your top 3. Okay, so somebody who really wants to maximize this career called real estate, what are the 3 most, and you can repeat yourself if you've already said a couple of them, what are the 3 most important things you tell them to focus on?
Like we said, start with your why. Really figure out what it is, what is your why? And it, my why involves my family. It involves, providing financial stability for them, and involves those kind of things. And then come up, I know exactly how many deals I want to do a month. And so, I focus on that. And every month it starts over. I had a pretty strong May. I have a pretty decent June. But at the end of the month, we wipe the calendar fresh and everything starts at 0. So that most agents, what they do is they get busy and then they focus on that. And then they slow down and then they go, oh my gosh, I need more business. So they start their calls, they do what they need to do. And then, they get busy. So they stop focusing on what they're supposed to do. And so that's why we have the highs and lows in real estate. So, but if you set goals for yourself and you focus on accomplishing those, it doesn't matter what last month was. You start every month at 0. And so I know every month I have a really positive mindset and I focus on that. And sometimes it's interesting where, I know, oh, I got to get a deal today. I got to get a deal. I need 1 more closing this month, 1 more closing, So I'll make my calls and, it had nothing to do with the activity I actually did that day. But suddenly someone else calls me and goes, okay, you need to go we're looking to sell our home. Can you come by? So it's not necessarily, I mean, it is the actions. It really is. But
Yes.
a strong mindset, just taking action in general, can bring things to you. I've learned that over the years. A lot of the things that I have happen have nothing to do with the 5 calls I made that day, but I'm in the right mindset, doing the right actions, and it comes to me.
I call that prospecting karma. It's just, because you're in the right direction, telling the universe, I want more business, taking those actions. And sometimes it comes from out in left field. And you're like, where did that come from? But it shows up. It's weird, right?
It really is. It really is. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. And so I know, I'll give you specifics. I know my goal right now is 6 deals a month. That's for me personally. So my goal is, I want to do 72 deals this year, which is lower than what I usually have, but we are in a conservative year. So I've kind of said 6 deals a month. And then that's just for me. My buyer's agents, they'll do another 60. So around 132 deals, hopefully this year. But, for me, it's like, okay, where's my 6 deals? Okay, so right now I know I have 4 in escrow. I've got to get 2 more. So you just really focus on that, and then you'll be more motivated. That's, I know why I'm doing it, and I know what I have to do, so I need at least 2 more deals to get my monthly goal of where I need to be to make my annual goal. So, every year I sit down and I write down an annual, I write down 5 things that I want. Here's the spiritual goals for the year. Here's my family goals for the year. Here's my physical goals for the year, my personal and financial. So 3, 4, 5. Yes.
I do the same
things.
thing.
And
it's funny you said those 5. Those are my 5 too.
Yep. Those are my 5. I write down those 5. And then every month I break it down on, okay, this month, what specifically can I work on with regard to my annual goals on each of those items? So, on my daily planner, I have a spot before every month, and I write down, okay, here are the things that I'm going to do specifically on each of these this month, to take a little, so you're not writing your goals at the beginning of the year and then, oh, I didn't make them at the end of the year, you pull them out again at the end of the year. No, every month I look at them again. And then every week I even kind of break it down a little further, okay, I know what I have to do monthly, so what am I specifically doing this week on those? So you're really breaking it down from annual to monthly to weekly. Here's the things I'm focused on, personally, professionally, and, spiritually, everything.
Good. I love it. And part of that is that, like you mentioned, you write down your goals, you have your affirmations in the morning, right? And then you do a quick meditation. I don't think people realize how important that is.
I agree. And you know what? Even my husband will meditate with me now. He kind of joined me on the morning routine, and we just do a 10-minute one. There's some that I love that are 20 minutes, but sometimes 20 minutes a day is a lot, but 10 minutes, man, you can sit for 10 minutes. We watch them on our TV on YouTube, and just Google on YouTube, search for meditations. There's 10-minute ones that we kind of have saved under our favorites, and we just go to the next one every day. And it can make such a difference, just that 10 minutes even of taking 10 minutes to reflect. And that just starts your morning out so differently than, I leave that meditation many times just feeling like, wow, okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I know. I know they even have every now and then, especially when I'm on the road, they have a live one that it's 24 hours. It never stops. So you just play it. I play it at night, going to sleep, meditate, falling asleep. Boom. YouTube is amazing what it has on YouTube.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, I've downloaded apps. I have all those as well. But the easy ones are just on the TV. We sit down, do our gratitudes together, my husband and I, and then we do our affirmations together, and then we sit down, and do our 10-minute meditation right on YouTube. And it's just part of the routine.
Great. Yeah, I used to, when I first started, because I had a really hard time with it at first, visualizing, and I listened to guided meditations, by a woman named something Howell. What was her first name? I can't remember, but Howell is her last name. But they're incredible. Her voice is incredible.
Yeah.
The stereophonic is incredible. And Kelly Howell. Kelly. Yeah, those are really good. If you want to, like somebody who's not used to meditating, it's what got me in the groove, because she painted the picture. Like, there's meditations for prosperity, for health, and she just tells you what to visualize, and it's really easy just to follow her voice.
That's what we do. That's exactly. I can't just sit there for 10 minutes with no sound, for sure. I need the guided meditation myself.
Oh, good. So you do guided ones. That's great. I love those.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it makes a big difference. So, figure out your why, have the strong why, have your morning routine, and then have clear goals that are, start with your annual, break them down monthly, break them down weekly, and even break them down daily. Like, okay, I know this is what I have to do today. And I do time blocking, here's what I do, my prospecting, and I put that in every day, as part of my time block calendar. Here's what I'm going to do. It's transitioned over the years from, calling 50 expired listings to 5 past client and spare. And there's, we all hesitate. Oh, I don't want to make the call, but 5 past client and spare days, man, we can all do that.
Right. I love it. Okay. So you see the market is getting a little bit more conservative, and probably if you've ever decided it's time to be a listing agent, it's now, right?
Yeah, you know what? Right now, so I watch for stats all the time, and we have low inventory. Yeah, we have low inventory again. And so, I study the market all the time. I study what's going on. We're about 35% down on closings from where we were at this time last year. So it's like, why do we have low inventory? We do have decreased demand. We're selling less homes, but the reality is we have, less supply. Less homeowners are willing to put their home on the market. How are they going to buy? They're in a 2.7% interest rate. Where are they going to be able to afford to buy something? So we're seeing less homes come on the market. So you do have to be skilled. We've been in a strong seller's market where pretty much any agent can take a listing, and the homes have sold themselves. It's been great. The homes have sold themselves. We didn't need a lot of skills at that point to do so. So, I've been in the business when we had a very big buyer's market, where we had inventory, a year's supply of inventory. Most agents, if you've been in the market less than 10 years, actually really even less than 13 years, because I would say our market bottomed out right around 2010. If you've been in the market less than 13 years, you really don't know what a buyer's market is. You really don't. We've been in a seller's market for about 13 years. So, and I don't see that huge changing. We still only have a 2.5 month supply of inventory, which is a seller's market. Really, anything 6 months or less is a seller's market. But at this point, skills and systems will carry you through those. So now's the time to be learning. Now's the time to be creating systems. I have very, very strong systems. We communicate with our sellers 3 times a week. You're going to hear from my assistant on Tuesday. Here's the feedback on all the showings over the weekend. Here's what we're doing to sell your home this week. And here's, the marketing we've got going on. Then you're going to get a recap email from us on Wednesday. Here's the feedback. Here's the showings. Here's what we did to sell your home last week. Here's what we have planned this week. Then you're going to hear from me on Thursdays with my recommendations on the showings and feedback. So we're constantly communicating. We have systems on here's what we do the first week, here's what we do the second week, here's what we do the third week, here's what we do the fourth week. We're not reinventing the wheel with every listing. You're going to know we're very proactive on communication. We have systems in place. So when and if we're in a buyer's market, we'll transition easily. And, but those are systems that agents should be putting together now that will, if you're in a strong seller's market and you don't need them, great. But you have them and they'll still make you more successful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm convinced, because I've been doing this for 39 years. I think I'm convinced for the first time, I'm going to knock on wood when I say this, that we may not see a buyer's market for a while because of the lack of inventory. Remember, this is the lowest inventory we've had, and we still have so many people that could buy. If the interest rates come down a little bit, it's going to shake up the market. But ever since you just said, about 2008, 2010, we've only built across the country about 25% as many homes as any other time in the history of real estate. So our inventory, it's going to take a while. All right. So I think we're going to be in this market where it's going to be like at least middle, but maybe leaning towards the seller most of the time, simply because of supply and demand.
I think so too. I do. And I think, next year's an election year. I would assume they would want to go into that with somewhat of a strong economy. So I really do think we're actually going to stay in a seller's market. So absolutely. But I still think that, that sellers are going to expect more since there's less homes on the market. They're going to expect their agent, where over the last couple of years when the homes sold so quickly, part of value was determined by less fees, a lower commission, because the home sold quickly regardless. And so I'm seeing that less and less, where commission isn't as much of an issue. It's skills, experience, a plan, and that I think will continue.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
That's
and I'm only going to add,
value.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry. I'm just going to add, for all of you guys out there who've been in the business for 10 years or less, the April of 2020 to December of 2021 was not reality. Right? That's the best,
not at all.
best 20 months in the history of real estate. So I agree with you. You need a present. And look at, okay, I know I'm a company guy, but we have great company tools. We have great company presentations. We have an incredible brand. If you use it, and I know you do, Leslie, because you've been here since the company was, Prudential, right? You weren't here since Better Homes and Gardens, were you? Prudential.
Yeah, I was. Yep.
Wow. See that? So you've been around. So you've been, but this brand is the best, Berkshire Hathaway. So Uncle Warren has done a good job.
Yeah, I was actually with Prudential Southwest, who merged with Better Homes and Gardens. So I've always been with Prudential, but then they merged.
Right. There you go. All right, Leslie Carver. Well, we're at time. I just wanted to say, you know what? I love the fact that you give back at MLS. You're always willing to help out. I'm sure people got some nuggets today. Like I said, I'm going to blast this everywhere. I've already got my Saturday email written out while you were talking about your 3 points. And I really appreciate you taking your time out this morning, Leslie. So thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
All right. Nice to talk to you as always, Rick.
Thanks, Leslie.
Thank
you. All right, guys.
Take care.
We'll do this again in a week. Have a great day. Bye, Leslie.